The air reeked of bleach and metal. My blood seeped into the sheets while doctors barked commands over the unbroken tone of a flatline. As I hovered at the brink of nothing, my parents were toasting glasses at my sister's glittering gala. Later, they told the neighbors I was being dramatic. The desperate call I made before surgery, they claimed, was exaggerated. They insisted their presence was more valuable where cameras flashed and champagne spilled. That night, I nearly lost my life, and they never cared. It wasn't the first time. Growing up, my sister was the favored child in every way. Their pride, their chosen son. Everything revolved around her brilliance, her ballet recitals, debate competitions, and endless parties hosted in her honor. I was merely the shadow in the corner, the empty chair at dinner, the blurred figure in family photographs. For years, I forgave it. I told myself they simply didn't realize. I convinced myself that one day they would finally see me, that I would matter. But as I lay there, blood draining from my body, I grasped the truth. They had always seen me. They had just chosen indifference. When I survived, I didn't scream, I didn't rage. I chose silence. Silence wounds deeper than fury because it gives nothing to hold on to. Quietly, I began erasing them piece by piece. First, I stopped answering their calls. Then I cut off visits, moved to a new apartment, changed my address, left no trail. Finally, I severed every joint tie, insurance, medical consent, bank accounts. I untangled myself with surgical precision until I was gone from their world. And at first, they barely noticed. Ironically, they only began to notice when they needed something. My silence didn't just remove me. It removed the access and security I had quietly carried for them all those years. I had always been the one handling the details, filling out the forms, remembering what they forgot. My sister was the glittering showpiece. I was the scaffolding holding everything steady, unseen but essential. And scaffolding, once gone, takes the whole structure down with it. Their unraveling began quietly. An insurance claim denied because my signature was no longer there. A medical bill left unpaid when I cut off account access. Then the devastating blow. My father collapsed one morning in the driveway. Cardiac arrest. The neighbors called me. The hospital called me. Even my sister's trembling voice begged me to answer. I let the phone ring. I pictured them stranded in a waiting room, clutching forms they couldn't complete, staff asking for next of kin authorization, the blank faces when the insurance came back rejected. All because the overdramatic child had quietly walked away. My silence thundered louder than any scream could. A week later, a letter arrived, my mother's handwriting shaky and uneven. It wasn't an apology. It was a plea. We didn't realize it was this serious. We thought you were fine. We need you. Please, we can't manage without you. I folded the page, slid it back into the envelope, and tucked it away in a drawer I would never reopen. Because I wasn't overdramatic. I was invisible until they needed me. Now, they were the ones who had vanished from my life. Here's the part they'll never admit. They built this ending themselves. They cut me out each time they placed my sister's spotlight above my survival. They hollowed me out until silence was all I had left, and silence was all I returned. People sometimes ask if I regret it, if I feel guilty for letting them drown in the consequences of their neglect. My answer is simple, no. That night on the operating table, I learned the truth. Family isn't defined by blood. Blood spills. Blood drains. Blood can be ignored while glasses are raised elsewhere. Family is defined by who shows up when you're at your breaking point. And they didn't. So when their crisis came, I had a choice. Step back into the role they'd always used me for, or let them experience the emptiness they had left me in. I chose silence. That silence was my revenge. I don't hate them anymore. Hatred requires energy I refuse to waste. What I feel instead is colder, cleaner relief. Because every time my phone stays quiet, I know I've severed the chain that once bound me to their disregard. They taught me I was disposable. Now they've learned I'm gone. And that lesson, unlike me, will stay with them forever.